Good afternoon and happy Wednesday. I'm KHOU Meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are experiencing another fantastic and sunny day here across Houston. It's going to be pleasantly warm, especially as we head into those afternoon hours. And then the humidity, unfortunately, returning back for Thursday and Friday. We're going to see some rain chances with this, as we're also going to be tracking another cold front that's going to be sweeping through Texas, eventually bringing back some drier conditions. But also, unfortunately, too many unfortunately's there, we're going to remain warm, especially as we head into the start of next week. So looking at right now, very perfect day, especially across Houston. Galveston 81, Tomball 83, Pearland 83. Perfect conditions to have lunch outdoors. However, if you are heading out this evening, we're going to see those temps once again cool down into the low 70s by 9 p.m. Sunset will officially be at 6:51 this afternoon in Houston. We are expecting those conditions to continue to cool down, especially as we go into 11 p.m. Dew points are also dry and comfortable. We're still looking at these dry conditions, really just keeping the muggy and the humidity out of the picture as we head into the next couple of days. But also today, we're going to also have to pay attention to that fire weather concern, especially for much of southeast Texas, where you see those tan white colors. That's a 3 out of 5, and that's considered high, at least according to the Texas A&M Forest Service. We have more of an elevated risk, especially out in Cleveland, the Piney Woods area. So be extra cautious if you are doing burning outdoors. We haven't received a significant rainfall in the past couple of months, and so that really is playing a role at the risk of that fire danger, especially when it comes to vegetation. Also keep in mind that most of our counties here in southeast Texas are slowly starting to fill in when it comes to those burn bans. They are in the works to adding Harris County to that burn ban list. Of course, they're going to meet in the couple of days that will officially add Harris County, especially by this weekend. Fort Bend, Wharton, Colorado, Austin, Washington counties under burn ban. Walker, Montgomery, include the Woodlands, Conroe, Spring, San Jacinto, Polk, Liberty, and Chambers County are also under that burn ban risk. So as we head into the next 2 to 3 days, we will see the return of those muggy conditions. This is going to eliminate that fire weather risk, especially as we head into Friday and Saturday. However, as we look at the overall outlook, we're also going to be tracking some rain chances with this as we head into the weekend. Right now, high pressure systems in place, keeping things bone dry and sunny across much of the south, but that will start fizzling out and moving off towards the east, and then we're going to be tracking this low pressure system with an associated cold front that's going to arrive likely by Saturday evening into Sunday. That will bring the potential for some isolated downpours, as well as a surge of some dry air as we head into the start of next week. So future tracks showing clear conditions for today, mostly clear for Thursday, but it's Friday morning that we could see some of these downpours start moving in from the coast, and that definitely could bring some wet road conditions, and we do need the rain. We are seeing increasing drought conditions here across the Houston area, and any rain that we could get is very well much needed, especially as we head into this weekend. And so expecting a little bit more cloud cover, a little bit more unstable air as we head into the weekend. But the humidity, once again, increasing for Saturday. We're going to start seeing that surge of dry air start creeping in from the north, and that's going to be associated with that cold front that will be moving closer towards the Houston area as we head into the next few days. And so therefore, also warming conditions, especially for those low temperatures, especially if you're heading out the door in those morning hours. So expecting temps to warm up to about 72, 75 degrees. I think those conditions outside are going to be a bit muggy and summer-like, especially if you are heading out for those morning jogs and those evening runs, especially for this weekend. However, once that cold front does pass, we will see those morning temps return back down into the 60s for Monday and Tuesday, which is good news for us, but it's going to warm up before it gets better. Tropics are looking mostly quiet. We do have Tropical Storm Lorenzo that's currently out there with winds at 40 miles an hour. We still are in hurricane season. This storm is moving northeast at 14 miles an hour, pretty far away from any land masses. That's just going to remain well over open water, and the latest model guidance is showing that this is going to fizzle out as it moves off towards the northeast with winds at 40 miles an hour. It's not expecting to survive that much longer, but looking at the development odds for the end of October, this is for October 22nd through the 28th, we still have to keep an eye on the Caribbean, because it's very well common that we could still see some storms spawn in the Caribbean, especially by the end of October. And this is from the NOAA forecast guidance. And so tropical development possible later this month, maybe in the next couple of weeks. And so models are hopping on some trends that could spawn off a few disturbances. And of course, it's too far early to tell whether or not this is going to happen or not, but we have to keep our eyes peeled, especially especially as we are still in hurricane season, which still lasts into the end of November. But looking at the temperature outlook, we're expecting it to remain above normal, at least by the end of October. So above normal temps expected for all of Texas. Usually around this time of year, our average high for Houston is 83 degrees, and we are expecting those temps to be pretty well above that as we head into the next 10 days. Upper 80s, low 90s, a little bit of a warm up for Saturday and Sunday, and it's not going to be until at least Sunday where we'll see the effects of that cold front. So as far as your 7-day forecast, high temps in the upper 80s, lows in the 60s for tomorrow, but we were also expecting the return of those isolated downpours as we head into this weekend. So we are expecting those conditions to remain mostly just pleasant for today. So I think we're going to see this last pleasant day before it starts getting muggy for next week. But if you're just now joining us on KHOU 11+, we are experiencing a very gorgeous day here across Houston. Of course, I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez with your extended forecast, and we are expecting those a rather pleasantly warm day for today, with the humidity once again returning for Thursday and Friday. That's where we're going to start seeing those muggy conditions return. So scattered rain chances are also expecting to be in the picture ahead of this cold front that's going to be coming through at least by this weekend. But we are expecting those temps to remain rather clear and pleasant for today, dropping down into the low 70s with those dew points still rather dry. Usually when we see those dew points in the 60s and 70s, that's what usually brings the muggy conditions. And so the fact that those dew points are in the 50s inland really is just going to keep that pleasant weather and those pleasant feeling type conditions here across Houston, at least for today. However, consequently, there has to be a trade-off. We will see a high fire weather risk for all of southeast Texas. That is the level 3 out of 5. That's a high risk, especially according to the Texas A&M Forest Service. So limit outdoor burning, and if not, be extra cautious. Also keep an eye if your county is under that burn ban list, which does include areas north and south of Houston. And so as we look at the future dew points, we're going to eliminate that fire risk for tomorrow, because we will start seeing that atmospheric moisture once again return with those dew points in the 70s for Friday morning. So expecting those muggy conditions to return for the weekend, unfortunately, and the return also with some possible showers ahead of this front that's going to be moving through this weekend. But what's been keeping us mostly quiet is this high pressure system that's been in place. That's really been keeping us very quiet, dry, and sunny for the past couple of days. But looking at the next few days, we will be tracking this low pressure system with an associated cold front that will be sweeping through Texas. Most of the rain with this system is going to be well to the east of the Houston area, but we could see a few of those isolated showers that could move through, especially as we head into as early as Friday morning. And so expecting rather not really stormy or widespread rainy conditions, but we are expecting a few downpours to move through starting on Friday, and that could be the case each and every day for the weekend, especially for Friday and into Saturday going into this weekend. Humidity will also start surging into really muggy conditions for this weekend, but we will start seeing the weather models start hinting that we could see some of that drier air in place as we head into this weekend, especially as far as the start of next week. So overnight morning temperatures, I know it's been fantastic out there. Unfortunately, we're going to temporarily lose it because we will see those temps dropping only into the 70s for Friday and Saturday. And then eventually as we go into Monday, Tuesday, that's where we're going to start seeing the return of those morning temperatures dropping into the 60s. And so expecting those conditions just to remain mostly pleasant, especially for the next few days. Lorenzo, like I said before, out in open water, not posing a threat to anyone, far away from those land masses, but we are expecting, we have to keep our eyes peeled on what's to come. We have late development possible in the Caribbean by October 22nd to the 28th. We are still in hurricane season. There has been some storms that have made their way into the Gulf in the months of October, and so usually for this time of year, most of those frontal boundaries keep those systems well away from us, but we still have to keep our eyes peeled because we will see that hurricane season last, unfortunately, until the end of November. So temps remaining above normal, usually upper 80s, low 90s for the next 10 days. And for your 7-day forecast, expect those temperatures to remain mostly just a little bit warmer in terms of the muggy conditions, with those overnight lows dropping into the 70s. But we will be paying attention to that rain chance that will be creeping back in by Friday and Saturday. It's not going to be anything widespread, but we could see a few downpours moving through our area, especially as we head into the weekend. And then by Sunday, Monday, return of dry weather. You'll see those temps dropping back down into the 60s with afternoon temps in the upper 80s, but we are unfortunately going to see some isolated downpours for the weekend with that cold front arriving at least by Friday or into Saturday. So that's all I have for you. Of course, I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are tracking the latest weather updates on KHOU and KHOU 11 Plus. Make sure to tune back in this afternoon at 4 p.m. for the KHOU 11 newscast.